morning, students. So in the last session of the chapter thermodynamics, we have done standard enthalpy of formation and the enthalpy of combustion. Now in this session, we will be starting with a law which is called as Hess law of constant heat summation. Now this law is based on the fact that enthalpy is a state function. You know that enthalpy change is a state function. What do you mean by a state function? It is a thermodynamic function which does not depend upon the path. It is independent of the path. It depends only on the initial and the final state of the system. It does not depend upon path. So this law is based on this fact that enthalpy change is a state function. State function means a thermodynamic function which depends only on the initial and the final state of the system and does not depend on path. It is independent of path followed. Now, according to Hess law, the enthalpy change during a chemical reaction will remain same whether the reaction is carried out in one step or several steps. Again I'm repeating, the enthalpy change during a reaction will remain same whether you carry out that reaction in one step or several steps. Now what do we mean by it? Let us just consider A is a reactant and I am converting it into the product D. The enthalpy change during this reaction is represented by delta H. The enthalpy change is represented by delta H. Now suppose I carry out this reaction in more than one step. Suppose I first convert A into B, then I convert B into C, and then I convert C into D. I can carry out the reaction by two methods. Either I can convert A directly into D, or I can carry out the process in steps. First I convert A into B, then B into C, and C into D. The enthalpy change for this first step is delta H1. It is delta H2 for second step, delta H3 for third step. This is your step 1, this is your step 2, and this is your step 3. And what you will find? Delta H, the enthalpy change in the reaction, is equal to the sum of the enthalpies of the various steps. Again I am repeating. The enthalpy change A to D will remain delta H only. If I do it in steps, then also it will be equal to delta H only. It will be equal to the sum. That is Hess law of constant heat summation. I can define it in other way also. The standard, it can also be defined like this. The standard enthalpy of reaction, the standard enthalpy for a reaction is equal to the algebraic sum of standard enthalpies of the intermediate reactions into which the whole reaction can be splitted or divided under same condition of temperature. This is the other statement for the Haas law. We can define it like this also. The standard enthalpy for a reaction, this is the standard enthalpy for a reaction. I just put a knot here so that it becomes standard, is equal to the algebraic sum. You can see this is the sum of the standard enthalpies of the intermediate reactions. These are the intermediate reactions. A has converted to B, B is to C, and then C to D. The intermediate reactions into which the whole reaction can be splitted or divided under same conditions of temperature. So this is your Haas law of constant heat summation. We are just taking an example to explain this. So let us just see an example of a Haas law to explain how Haas law is applicable. Now if I react carbon with oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide. The enthalpy change for this reaction, it is a combustion reaction, so I can call it specifically as enthalpy of combustion, or the enthalpy change during the reaction standard, it is minus 393.5 kilojoules per mole. Right? Carbon reacting with oxygen, undergoing complete combustion, and it is forming carbon dioxide. This is the enthalpy change. Now I can carry out this reaction in two steps. How? Carbon, I first react with half O2 and convert it into CO. And then CO, I react with half O2 and convert into CO2. I can carry out the reaction directly also by reacting with O2, converting into CO2. For this step, I know the enthalpy change. We have written minus 393.5 kilojoules per mole. Now for step 1, when carbon reacts with half O2 to form CO2, the enthalpy change for this step, delta H1 naught, is minus 110.5 kilojoules. Second step, when CO reacts with half O2 more to convert into CO2, the enthalpy for the second step is minus 283 kilojoules. Now we must be able to prove that delta RH is equal to delta H1 plus delta H2. Let us add them. It is minus 393.5 kilojoules. It is equal to minus 110.5 plus 283. So of course you can see that they are equal. So that means if I carry out the reaction in one step or I carry out the reaction in two steps, the enthalpy change will remain same. So that is your Haas law of constant heat summation. Now we do with the next topic. We have done earlier two types of enthalpies. We have done two types of enthalpies, that is enthalpy of formation, enthalpy of combustion. Now we are going to do with standard enthalpy of atomization. Standard enthalpy of atomization, delta AH naught. We have done enthalpy of formation. We have done with enthalpy of combustion. In enthalpy of combustion, we have done with the calorific value. So now we come to the different type of enthalpy, that is enthalpy of atomization. Now what is enthalpy of atomization? It is the energy required. It is defined as the energy required to break 1 mole of a substance, 1 mole of any substance, into its constituent gaseous atoms. Right? Remember the word atoms. I'm not saying molecules. We have to break any substance into its constituent gaseous atoms. That means if I have got this container containing H2 gas, Hydrogen gas exists in the form of H2 molecules. And how much H2 gas is present here? 1 mole. Now, if I want to break it into completely into atoms, separate gaseous atoms, I have to break. How I will break? Each hydrogen molecule has got this bond. I have to break this bond and then it will break into atoms. So here it is 1 mole of molecules and I want to break it into atoms, separate atoms. The energy which is required is called as enthalpy of atomization. So I can write the equation like this. H2 gas is changing into 2H gas. Molecule has separated. And here when I don't write anything, it means 1 mole. And enthalpy of atomization standard is minus 435.8 kilojoules per mole. Because 1 mole of a substance has to be broken into the constituent gaseous atoms. So remember here, atoms, gas I have written. Same way, if I take sodium, solid, I take a piece of sodium. कितना सोडियम है? 1 मोल. कितने atoms present होंगे इसमें सोडियम के? 1 mole. But it is solid. Sodium is a metal. You know it is solid. And how much I have taken? 1 mole. Now it is solid and I have to convert it into its constituent gaseous atoms. So I have to give heat and it will break into sodium gaseous atoms. So enthalpy of atomization will be, for the sodium gaseous atoms, 108 kilojoules per mole. So one thing more, please don't put a negative sign here, it is positive. Because you require the energy to break. You are breaking something. If I break something, I have to give energy. So it will take energy and then it will break. So it is an endothermic process. Right? So it will always be positive. It is also positive. This much energy is required. I take methane. Methane is already a gas. But I have to break it into constituent atoms. What are the atoms here? Carbon. Or gaseous होने चाहिए. It breaks into gaseous carbon and 4 hydrogens which are gaseous. How much I have taken? 1 mole. So how much? 1 mole of carbon gaseous atoms and 4 mole of hydrogen gaseous atoms will be formed. And whatever energy is required, that is called as enthalpy of atomization. The enthalpy of atomization is this much, kilojoules per mole. So this is what is enthalpy of atomization. Energy which is required to break 1 mole of any substance. It may be solid, it may be liquid, it may be gaseous. This is gaseous. I have to break it into separate atoms, gaseous atoms. Then the energy which is required to do that is called as standard enthalpy of atomization. Now the next one. After standard enthalpy of atomization, we are doing another enthalpy, and that is called as bond enthalpy. What we are going to do now is bond enthalpy. Bond enthalpy represented by this. This is bond enthalpy. Now you know covalent bonds are there between the atoms. Now what is bond enthalpy? Bond enthalpy is the energy required to break 1 mole of bonds of same type between 2 atoms. Bond enthalpy is also called bond dissociation enthalpy. You can also call it as bond dissociation enthalpy. What it is? Energy required to break 1 mole of bonds of same type between 2 atoms. Remember, how many bonds I have to break? 1 mole of bonds between 2 atoms is called bond enthalpy. Energy required to break 1 mole of bonds. Now see to this. I take H2. H2 means H single bond H. Every hydrogen atom molecule, one H2 molecule will have one HH bond. Every molecule will have one bond. So 1 mole of molecules will have 1 mole of bond. और 1 mole of bond को break अगर करेंगे तो what will be formed? Atoms बनेंगे. And the energy required for it is called as bond enthalpy. Same as enthalpy of atomization in this case. In this case, it is same as enthalpy of atomization because each hydrogen molecule contains one hydrogen bond. So 1 mole of hydrogen molecules will have 1 mole of HH bonds. And 1 mole को bonds को break करने के लिए जो energy चाहिए, it is called bond enthalpy. So this can be called bond enthalpy also as enthalpy of atomization also. Let us take one more example. Now if I take oxygen O2 has a double bond. So I have to break 1 mole of double bonds. I have to break 1 mole of double bonds. And it breaks into oxygen atoms and the energy required for it is 498 kilojoules per mole. Can you see it is more than this? Because you are breaking a double bond. Double bond is stronger than a single bond and you require more energy. Same way, N triple bond N, 1 mole. So 1 mole of triple bonds are there and I have to break them. It will be the bond enthalpy 946 kilojoules per mole. You can see how much high it is. So you can clearly see energy required to break a double bond is more, triple bond is still higher. Triple bond is stronger. Right? Let us take one more example. I take this example. CH4 gas breaks into the enthalpy change, enthalpy of atomization we have done earlier, it is 1665 kilojoules per mole. Is it considered, will it be considered as the bond enthalpy or not? What the question is, will it be considered as the bond enthalpy or not? Now see, CH4, 1 mole of CH4. How many CH bonds it has got? 1 bond, 2 bond, 3 bond, 4 bond. So 1 molecule of CH4 has 4 CH bonds, right? Has 4 CH bonds. So 1 mole of methane will have 4 moles of CH bonds. And you know bond enthalpy is energy required to break 1 mole. But here how many moles are being broken? 4 moles. So it is not bond enthalpy. This is enthalpy of atomization. What will be the bond enthalpy in this case? Bond enthalpy in this case will be equal to 1665 divided by 4. Whatever you get, that is the answer. That is the bond enthalpy. Because bond enthalpy is for 1 mole. Here there are how many moles? 4 moles. So in this case, enthalpy of atomization, bond enthalpy is not same. Enthalpy of atomization and bond enthalpy are same only in the case of diatomic molecules. Only in the case of diatomic molecules it is same. Right? Only in the case of diatomic molecules it will be same. In the case of polyatomic molecules, polyatomic means having more than 2 atoms. It will be called as the average bond enthalpy. It will be called as average bond enthalpy. And you have to find it out for 1 mole of bonds. I take one more example. I take water. H2. This is H2, right? Now H2O, when the first bond breaks, it forms OH plus H. So you can see 1 mole of OH bond has broken. The energy required for it, bond enthalpy 1, is 498 kilojoules. What it is? 498 kilojoules. Right? Now the second bond, OH, it will break into H plus O. The bond enthalpy for this will be approximately 436 kilojoules. Right? Approximately these are the values. Now, first bond को break करने के लिए require more energy. Why? Because oxygen का octet complete and it is stable. But to break the second bond, you require less energy. Now, both the energies are required to break OH bond. Now, what we consider? We calculate the average bond enthalpy. What we do it in this case? We calculate the average bond enthalpy. And what is the average bond enthalpy? The sum of the two bond enthalpies divided by 2. That will give you the average bond enthalpy. So in the case of polyatomic molecules, polyatomic means which contain more than 2 atoms, polyatomic molecules. We calculate the average bond enthalpy. In case of polyatomic molecules, what we calculate? Average bond enthalpy. We finished with this topic in this session. We'll continue with other topics in the next session. Thank you.